think too many people are enamored with this whole belief on this quote unquote Muslim countries, but I will say that they're not really Muslim countries, they're secular countries who use a little bit of Sharia, and we'll see it more and more. I think we're just look at the UAE, all those places, and we're focusing on quote riches, when it looks nice, lifestyles, all this influencers and such, and we're starting to avoid to see what's really going on underneath, and shows a deeper problem of why the Ummah is the way it is. So let's watch the video and talk about it, shall we?
Imagine you booked a flight to Dubai. Finally about to visit this place you've seen all these cringe videos about. But before you book the hotel, you check the reviews like a responsible adult, and you see this. I know you might be thinking, how? But the story only gets weirder the deeper I get into it. And judging by how the reviews gradually change from tourists caught completely off guard by the prostitutes in their 5-star hotel to all 5-star very happy with the hospitality reviews, I say either the problem went away or word just spread enough that the only people staying in these certain hotels are the main client base. But how could this happen? How can one of the safest countries in the world allow trafficking on this scale to occur? Well, this kind of falls under forced labor, which as we know is allowed in the UAE, and since these laborers definitely don't have any rights, it's probably why we don't hear many reports about it. In Dubai, the royals are at the top of everything, and although no member of the royal family has been rumored to be involved, in a now deleted article from the New Yorker, the current ruler of Dubai's late older brother, Sheikh Al Maktoum bin Rashid, was accused by his former personal drivers of traveling on private jets with underage girls. But going even deeper down this rabbit hole leads to Zabil Palace, just one of the emir's many royal residences, where Martin Quinn, a U.S. ambassador, was stationed. And when traveling to Saudi Arabia with the royal entourage led by Sheikh Rashid, Martin witnessed some things he wasn't supposed to. At what he described as underground royal parties, he witnessed princes and those wealthy enough to get in engaged with all kind of drugs and purchased women, with most of these attendees coming from countries that would execute any regular person attending one of these type of events. And this leads us to Christy Gold, a mysterious Nigerian woman that was known for her luxurious lifestyle that fled back to Nigeria in 2023 after she and her brother were accused of operating a trafficking ring that lured women from Africa to hotels, bars, and brothels in Dubai. These women, according to the Nigerian government, serve as slaves for the elite. Now, the UAE calls any notion that they tolerate human trafficking false. I mean, my God, the country didn't even consider sex trafficking a crime until 2006. What the hell was going on in 2005 then? Nothing? Now, not much is known about the woman who fled back to Nigeria after being caught, but it is known that she was just one member of a deep and well-connected group. And it gets even darker when you realize that this woman and her associates took advantage of the fact that some West Africans believe in a spiritual system called juju, and they forced them to take the juju oath, which is an oath conducted through a ceremony where the women swear loyalty to their masters, often thinking that breaking this spiritual contract will result in their death. And these services are found everywhere, with entire nightclubs just being covers for it, and even massage parlors, with the very first one I found being called the Satisfaction Spa. And a simple walk through the Deira neighborhood will quickly break any illusion you have of what's really going on in this city. Hypocrisy in its greatest form. You only need to look at Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Strip, at less than 4.5 miles long, has enough for 1 million people to be entertained for weeks. And with all the music, alcohol, dispensaries, bars, and casinos, it's hard to remember that there's an entire city outside of this one strip of land that's nothing like the decadence and opulence of Caesar's Palace. But that's the point. When I stayed in Las Vegas for a week, I quickly forgot there was anything outside of the resort I was staying in, which was connected to another resort with a mall and several bars that I didn't even have to leave the building to travel between in the 115-degree heat. And all tourists are highly recommended not to leave the strip during their stay anyway, to keep the city's problems out of sight, just like Dubai. The big difference is, the UAE is a country partially governed by religious Sharia law, where extramarital sex and adultery can be punishable by death, whereas Las Vegas is known as Sin City for a reason, with just about every sin being encouraged here, and not to mention the fact that prostitution has been legal in most parts of Nevada for over 100 years. The hypocrisy in Dubai is insane. And the ruler couldn't care less about the man sentenced to 5 years for possessing less than a gram of marijuana, while he happily paid for 2 of his sons to go to rehab, with his eldest, Rashid, mysteriously dying at the age of 33 in the prime of his life, reportedly from a drug overdose, with the state even trying to spin the story that he had been assassinated by militants, and the current crown prince reportedly being a drug addict by Mr. Ali, a British man who had been a palace aide to the Dubai royal family at their British estate at Longcross Palace in Surrey, England. Before booking a vacation, you must always remember, everything that glitters is not gold. Dubai is still, behind all the lights, luxury resorts, and a seemingly happy populace, an absolute autocratic state where the ruler and his 1,000 eyes hold the power of life and death over all who touch his soil. Whether you're an influential tourist or an extremely wealthy expat, every freedom you enjoy here comes at the cost of the livelihoods of millions of men and women. Forced into slavery, many of them will never see their homes again.
Yeah, and we see why certain Muslim countries are not doing anything to help, for instance, people of Gaza. And it's said once, I said again, those Muslim countries are not really Muslim countries, just like the US being a quote Christian country. It's not really a Christian country. Just because they sprinkle some religiosity in it doesn't make it so. And that is a problem with a lot of people. And the only thing that they see is the glitter, nice cars, and then, oh, it's amazing. It's great. And they don't want to see what's really going on. They don't want to see what's really behind the curtain. And that is a big problem. And it shows what they really are interested in. It's not the religiosity, or it's not actually keeping the Sharia law. It has nothing to do with a law at all. It is not a quote, it's not a real Muslim country. It's nothing more than a secular country that uses Sharia to pretend it's something else. It really is. We need to stop fantasizing about them. We need to stop putting them out there like if it's something good when there's a lot of problems going on over there and no one over there cares. There's a lot of racism in there and a lot and so on. And just because the so and so influencers and videos don't show it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So yeah, we need to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to pray, and we need to constantly be aware of what's really going on and call out the problems as we see it. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. I'll see you next time.